This is KUTV Primetime News with Irene Mwangi.
All right, thank you for staying tuned. It is that time for our discussion tonight, and joining us live is Bishop Hudson Ndenda, who is the chairman of the Church and Clergy Association here in Kenya. We'll be having a discussion concerning the church and the BBI. There have been a push and pull here and there between politicians and the church, and Bishop Hudson will be giving us details concerning what is happening and why we are having this push and pull. Many thanks indeed, Bishop Hudson, for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me, Irene.
All right. Now, I'll start off with what is the voice of the church in Kenya. We have had opposition leader Raila Odinga during the burial of Kalamandile, the former Kibwezi East MP, say that the church should not talk concerning BBI. They should stay off from politics. Therefore, what is the voice of the church on this particular matter, since politicians have started gagging the church, so to speak?
On that, we say no. The church will not keep quiet on matters affecting this nation. I'm looking at it at Kenya as a boat, and we are traveling in. Kenyans are in, the church is in, and some people are punching holes in a boat, and they're saying, don't speak, don't complain. And when this boat will sink, it will sink with all of us. So we cannot keep quiet because we are part of Kenya and we are Kenyans, and we are in this country, and whatever affects this country affects us as well. Mm-hmm. And additionally, when we talk of church, when we talk of Kenyans, the very Kenyans that vote are our members. And we as clergy as well, we vote. So when he says we keep quiet about politics in Kenya, does he mean that the church should not vote or we should not take part in elections?
All right.
Yes.
Now, there has been this claim by different church organizations, including the National Churches Council here in Kenya. They have said that maybe we should shelve the referendum until after the August 8th elections. I don't know whether, as the Church and Clergy Association, you hold the same opinion concerning when we should hold the referendum here in the country.
Yes, indeed. The church is speaking with one voice on that. On 4th of last month, we had a press conference and we pronounced ourselves on the same. We said it is not tenable to have a referendum on BBI right now and also have a general election. That will burden the taxpayer. It will also burden the IBC. They will not be able to give a credible election. So it is our stand as the church. It is not only us. NCCK have spoken on the same. The Catholic bishops have spoken on the same. The Befa Church has spoken on the same. And the church is speaking with one voice on that. Mm-hmm. If it is possible, it is possible. We postpone the BBI referendum until next year, not even next year, until the next regime, when mm-hmm. the new government comes in, mm-hmm. so that they be the one to spearhead the IBC, the BBI referendum, because of our burdening, the IBC, and also the taxpayer.
All right. But now, looking into what politicians are saying, they're saying perhaps if we're not having too much time, and instead of rushing the process, we should have the elections postponed from August 8th to 2023. I don't know whether you think that might be the solution, given that the church is saying the process has been hastened altogether.
Why should we postpone the next elections? It is not the right thing to do. We should learn to begin to respect the Constitution and do everything as per the Constitution. We are not supporting the postponement of the next election, and we said it in the same press conference on 4th of May. We said the elections must be held on the dates as in the Constitution. It should not be postponed. The politicians are asking for that for their own benefits. They're not thinking about us. They're not thinking about Kenya. They're thinking about themselves, probably because of what they wanted, they have not gotten it. So they want to postpone the election so that they work on the IBC, but mostly it is about them. It's not about Kenyans. Yes.
All right. Now, opposition leader Raila Odinga said, previously that the train has left the station when it comes to the whole process of the BBI and the referendum altogether. But why are we not having the politicians and the clergy, the different association, having a sitting to discuss the same concerning the way forward, given that they themselves are saying that you should not talk about politics, and the church on the other end, they say they are great stakeholders when it comes to matters concerning politics. So why are we not having these two particular groups have a discussion to get a center stage on the issue of referendum here in the country and the BBI process altogether?
Yes, he said the train has left the stage and it's moving, and we responded to him and we told him he needs to understand there are so many people that have been left on the stage. So where are they going with an empty train without Kenyans? The church gave the views to the BBI team and like Regency. They didn't hear us. They didn't include our views. Probably it is the right time that we sit down and reflect and bring everybody on board so that when this train takes off now in a proper way, that probably everybody will be able to support the BBI and we will move together as a nation if indeed the BBI is meant to unite Kenyans. So they should bring on board everybody, and we are waiting for the government to approach us as the church and say, what can we do? What can we agree on? We cannot do everything at one time, but at least there is that agreeable where we can agree on certain issues so that we move together as a nation.
All right.
Yes.
Now, the National Council of Churches here in Kenya, Bomet chapter, had given a proposal to have them amendments done in sections. That is to say, perhaps maybe some of the sections be amended either by Parliament and others by popular initiative. They're saying that the amendments are too much for Kenyans to handle, given that awareness has not been done on the same. I don't know whether you hold the same opinion as what the National Council of Churches here in Kenya are saying.
Yes, the only area that we would really support that the Parliament can look at and do some small amendments is maybe those that will help the IBC deliver a credible election. Those are the amendments that we can look at this time. Otherwise, indeed, as you say, the idea of BBI, it is a huge thing. It needs time, it needs people, every Kenyan to participate in it. It needs people to read the booklet and understand exactly what it is. For example, there are many things in this and the BBI that are not practical.
All right.
If you ask me, for example, right now, the county governments are owed by the national governments 102 billion shillings.
Yeah.
That is coming from the 15%
Sure.
that they're supposed to remit to them. Now, how practical is it that they will pay 35 if we pass BBI, if they can't pay 15%?
All right.
So we feel that this thing was rushed so much without looking at it. But if we look at it, we will realize there are things that are not practical. And therefore, the only area, as I said, maybe they look at the IBC, and then later we can look at the whole thing when everybody has sobered up and we are on the same page as Kenyans.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at the poll body IBC, we have seen the executive rush, President Uhuru Kenyatta, of course, to form the panel, the IBC panel, to select the commissioners. And we're expecting that the interviews will be concluded by the 17th of July, that is next month. Now, looking at the constitution of IBC, are you seeing them prepared? Should the court make a decision to have the process continue altogether? Is the commission, will the commission be joined well enough to conduct a referendum here in the country? Because we have had some churches organizations cost jitters concerning the preparation of the poll body, even if we have 3 commissioners added to the poll body.
The commission as it is, I feel it is not ready to do both the referendum and also deliver a credible general election. The time is too short. We only have 1 year. Suppose we embark on BBI right now, and it goes through maybe, let's give it like 5 months. That means this year is gone. They are supposed to begin to do primaries, party primaries in February. And then we have the next general election down somewhere in August. There is no time. And probably, even in the wisdom of the Treasury, we didn't see the budget for BBI. So we don't know exactly what they're thinking. Because how will you have the referendum without a budget? There was no budget. We didn't see a budget for BBI.
No, they did mention with a huge chunk being allocated to the BBI process altogether. But be that as it may, there has been the concern that, the church does not have the power to swindle the referendum altogether, because they're saying the church as it is right now is being accused of doublespeak as compared to the times where the church was quite a vocal voice when it comes to matters politics, even in 1992 where we had the IPPG system. And therefore this particular time they're saying the church has, entered into the pockets of some politicians who have been accused of funding Harambes in church, and therefore this particular time the church cannot swindle the BBI process even if they wanted to. I don't know whether you think that is the stand.
What do you make of when you hear politicians say that the church should not keep quiet on BBI? Should keep quiet on BBI. It is because they have realized we are united and we are speaking the same thing. We are speaking with the same voice and we are reading from the same script. In fact, the church has never been united in this nation as it is right now. The Church and Clergy Association of Kenya has spoken the same thing over BBI. The Catholic bishops have spoken the same thing over BBI. NCCK has spoken the same thing over BBI. We have heard the Pay for Church speak the same thing over BBI. How much more united can we be than that? And if we are speaking on that document that way now, it is the same thing we will speak even if they bring a referendum. We will speak the same thing.
All right.
Yes.
Now, when you look into the whole process of the referendum and when it started with the BBI's Secretariat team collecting the views and the opinions of the church has said that, they have not been included in this process. And that is why they feel that they are against the process altogether. Some section of the church have raised concern concerning some of the provisions that have been made in the BBI process. So what is really the opposition that is coming from the church? Because what they're saying is doublespeak, is the issue of not being included. Others are having issues with what has been included in the document, including the issue of abortion and the Catholic courts. What is really is creating this opposition from the church?
From the church, even if they bring BBI how many times, they must tell us that we will have our courts so that we deal with our marriage issues. They must guarantee us that the freedom of worship is guaranteed as it should be. I'm saying freedom of worship because when you look, for example, if we take a sample case of the COVID-19 situation that came in the land, the government is controlling the church as they wish. They can close the church when they want to close and they decide when we come back for worship. That is what we don't want to see in this nation. We want a freedom of worship clearly guaranteed. We want our own courts so that we can decide our own matters, and especially on matters marriage. That is being fair. We are just asking for fairness. We are also saying, as I have said, let us relook at the structure of government as proposed. Is it tenable? Will our economy sustain that? Those are the things we want to sit around on the table and discuss about. Yes. and many other things.
All right. But what will be the reason why the church will feel that they have been alienated in this particular process, given that it was open for all? What creates that particular tension that makes the church feel like this process, you guys do not involve us, you're not feeling as we are part of the process as compared to civil society or even the politicians themselves?
It is simply because we appeared before the BBI team at the LICO agency, and we gave all these proposals we're speaking about, and none of them has been considered. That is the point. Because then we had things like we had time to appear before the BBI team and talk, and we never appeared. We are on record. The media covered. We were on record at LICO Agency. We appeared, we talked, and they said they have heard us. So how did they hear us and they didn't consider what we said? Yeah, so we feel that maybe they are not taking us serious as the church in this country. All right.
Yeah. Now let's look into the issue that is happening right now. We're expecting a 7-judge bench to be formed concerning the BBI process in the Court of Appeal. And we have heard the claims that are being made by President Uhuru Kenyatta, of course, that he made during the Madaraka Day celebrations in Kisumu County. And the church has been agitated by the sentiments that the president made concerning the issue of the BBI case at the Court of Appeal. What is not working out with the way President Uhuru Kenyatta is handling the judiciary?
Thank you. We will not talk about the court process, but let's talk about the judiciary. Okay. Everybody must respect the judiciary, because I have said it before, when we cannot agree, that is why the courts are there. That is why we have a constitution. That is why we have the laws in this land. If we cannot respect the judiciary, we will be taking the country into a serious scenario where everybody will do what they think is right. So we respect the judiciary, and the executive, including everybody in the government, must respect the judiciary. When they rule and you are not agreeing with the ruling, there is room for appeal. You see, there is no point of going to appeal and on the other hand, you are complaining. Then why are you appealing? Why can't you keep on complaining? Yeah, the judiciary must be respected, and we congratulate the new CJ mother. We congratulate her on her appointment, and especially, particularly, the first female, and we expect that he will uphold the rule of law in this country.
All right. Yeah. Now, as we finalize away from matters of BBI and what the church is saying on the same, the sentiments by Deputy President William Ruto in West Pokot County, of course, he defied the issue of public gathering, handling a rally there at West Pokot, and of course, we're seeing a disunity sort of that is clearly laid out between the president and the deputy president. I don't know, as a church which has been a symbol of unity, what can be the sentiments concerning that particular scenario between these two leaders a year to the elections that are termed as one of the highly contested elections that we might have here in the country?
The presidency is the symbol of unity in the country, and indeed what is happening at the executive is not good for the country, because that will not bring the peace and the unity we're looking for in this nation. And we pray that the president will find a way of talking to his deputy and see they be seen to be working together and respecting one another, those offices. What we are seeing is not right. The church does not support the divisions we are seeing, because they are not good even for the development of this nation. And about the meetings, I think everybody has seen what the political meetings have done to this country in terms of promoting the COVID-19 situation. It began in Kisumu, and now in Turkana, It is something that we don't want to see, because they must lead as examples. When they say there is a situation in the country and the political gatherings and meetings must be stopped because it is helping and spreading, they should lead from the front. We shouldn't see them in that double standard.
All right.
Yes.
Now, today, the Cabinet Secretary for Interior, Dr. Fred Matiang'i, had a meeting, of course, with the chairman of the Interfaith Council here in Kenya, Archbishop Anthony Maheria, where they had a discussion concerning reviewing some of the measures in charge at a time where the Western Kenya, the Western and Nyanza region are facing a high surge of COVID-19. I don't know how you see the government is handling this particular matter, given the surge came days after we had the Madaraka Day celebrations in Kisumu County. Don't you think that maybe the government is losing it on the issue of way they're handling COVID-19 here in the country?
Yes, exactly what I'm saying. Because we believe this wave was much spread by the big meetings we saw in Kisumu.
All right.
Everybody can agree that that is the cause.
All right.
And indeed, we want to see them to be seen, to be fighting COVID-19. You know, sometimes it makes Kenyans to believe that this thing is not real. Because how could it be we are saying that this thing is serious? This thing it's very, very serious. And we see the very people who are telling us about it, they are not caring. So we pray that we see a serious fight against COVID-19, because we want this matter to be put to closure. We want our lives to continue. We want to continue with our businesses. We want to continue working. So we appeal to politicians. They have asked us to do online services in church. Why can't they do online politics?
Right.
Like us. If it is good for the church to do online services, then it should be good for them as well. About the lockdown in Western Kenya, we appreciate the CS Matiang'i, what he has done today. He has talked to the Interfaith Committee, and we have, pastors have been allowed to do online. Online meetings, services, streamlining with 15-member committee. We hope the police have had that and they will not harass the pastors.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Bishop Hudson Ndenda, for making time.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right. That has been Bishop Hudson Ndenda, who is the chairman of the Church and Clergy Association here in the country, saying it is time to stop the politics concerning the BBI and focus on the fight against COVID-19, which is the pandemic that is causing a scare here in the country. With that discussion, we are taking a short break, but we'll be back with more on what is happening beyond our borders. Do stay tuned.